To wind down our Zillow Offers iBuying operation involves a layoff of about 25% of the workforce. And
Zillow stock is down 68% from its highs, and it's crashed massively as the company writes off a $500 million loss after exiting its home buying business. I'm Ben and welcome to Motivation to Invest. Zillow stock is down big. Could this be a potential buying opportunity? What has happened with Zillow stock? I'm going to dive into all that in this video. I've just listened to their Q3 earnings call. Very interesting. I've done some deep dive analysis. So let's dive in. Diving right in here, guys. We're here at the price action. And from February 2021, the stock was $200 per share, and it actually had slid down prior to this whole issue by 53%, and I did a previous video on this. But recently there's been this other major dip, down 35%, and the stock's currently trading around $68. It was around $63 earlier today. ARK Invest was buying shares, and then they were suddenly selling shares the day after. So I don't know what is going on in Cathie Wood's head at the moment. She is a little bit of a day trader. I think they've got some sort of automated system set up at ARK Invest where they can buy and sell these stocks because they do trade daily. But on this channel, we don't invest into stocks. We invest into businesses because a stock is a portion of a company. So if that's something that you like to invest into also, feel free to subscribe by hitting that subscribe button, turning that notification bell on. Now, what has happened with Zillow stock? Well, Zillow, they entered this home buying business a while back, the iBuying business. And this, I mentioned in a previous video, was a low margin business. And then since my predictions have actually been correct.
Have I told you so moment to some people that said that in the first place?
I'm sure there are those that told me that, and I'm sure there are those out there wagging their fingers at me right now, and justified.
So the idea behind Zillow's home buying business is if somebody wants to sell their home fast, they can just contact Zillow and Zillow will purchase their home from them at a competitive price. Now, the issue actually comes because Zillow stated they created some models to predict future house prices. However, those models didn't actually work.
Went into the business as a big swing on the bet that we could actually predict the price of a home 6 months into the future.
So really, it's one of the biggest flops of the century. They swung for the fences, as the CEO said, and they obviously missed and had really a disaster with this one. And they're going to have to lay off 25% of their workforce. So it does seem like a bit of a disaster right now for Zillow, but could there be some upside? Firstly, let's rewind a little bit. For those of you guys that don't know, let's have a little bit of a discussion about Zillow. Hopping in right here, guys. For those that don't know, this is Zillow's website here. So it's US only, and you can basically purchase property, you can rent property, you can get home loans through the website, rentals, etc. And it's basically an advertising platform. So apartments or agents will pay to have their properties listed on Zillow, and they've got this interactive map where you can search for properties, and I was just having a look at a couple of places on Miami Beach. The beautiful thing about Zillow is it is the market leader. So I compared Zillow's traffic to some competitors. So this is Zillow here. Zillow has 271 million monthly visits. Now, the population of the US is 329 million, and I worked it out. It's approximately 80%, let's say, it's all approximations, of the US population uses Zillow as a shopping platform for properties. Now, their closest competitor seems to be Realtor.com. Of course, any of you guys who are in the US, please do correct me if you use another platform I don't know about. But their second competitor I could find was Realtor.com. They have 142 million monthly visitors to their website. So Zillow is way, way, way above that. And that really is a market leader in this space. So it has this market domination. Now, back into this issue with the iBuying, because the big question from many of these analysts who were listening to this earning call from many of the major banks was, what's next for Zillow? What will happen with this whole process? How can Zillow just exit this business? They have thousands of these homes which they've purchased. They've calculated the prices wrong. How can they exit smooth, and what's going to happen in the future?
Bloomberg's reporting today that you have 7,000 homes to sell for $2.8 billion and that you're pitching it to all sorts of institutional investors.
We are not, I will tell you, we're not in any kind of a fire sale mood. We're not in a big hurry to sell these homes. We're going to do it in an orderly fashion. These are appreciating homes. They are real assets, and we will wind down our inventory.
They had to write down inventory of approximately $304 million. And then the company further expects an additional $240 million to $265 million of losses to be recognized in Q4 2021. So approximately $500 million in losses. So this really is a big F up for Zillow. I'm not sure if I can square because of the YouTube monetization algorithm. Okay, so what's the good news for Zillow Stock? Well, I do like the founder. He's a very, very smart guy, very experienced. He spoke about on the earnings call as he started the company 16 years ago. He remembers searching for the domain name Zillow.com. And he's also the founder of Expedia and Glassdoor. And he's also has some great connections. So he's on the board of the directors for Netflix and Nextdoor, which is also a very interesting growth company. He was even named Barack Obama's presidential ambassadors for continental entrepreneurship. So this guy is very well connected. He's got past experience. And according to Forbes in 2020, he actually became a billionaire. So really, this guy doesn't need to work for Zillow. He doesn't need to put up with all these earnings, all these questions from many analysts all over the world asking about Zillow. He doesn't have to do any of that. He could go and lie on a beach right now, but instead he wants to continue working in this company and continue actually moving it forward, even despite the ups and downs and big disasters like's happened recently. So to me, that says a lot about his character, a lot about his drive for the business, and that is something that I look for when investing with these great founders. And this investing strategy of investing with these great founders is a strategy by a legendary investor named Nick Sleep. So I've got a full post on my website, motivationinvest.com, about Nick Sleep. But basically, this guy had an incredible investment record of 20.8% per year. And basically, that would have turned 50K over 13 years if you're investing $700 a month as well into over $1 million. So it is a good strategy. The guy held free stocks, Amazon and a couple others for many, many years, and he achieved some great returns. And one of the things he says in his shareholder letters is about investing with these great founders and sticking with them through tough times. Okay, so what's next for Zillow in terms of cold, hard stuff we can actually understand and see? Well, Zillow's actually working on Zillow 360, which is this inclusive home buying experience. So they want to be involved in everything, from the initial viewing or the dreaming stage, they call it, to the transactions, to the closing of these deals for property all across the US. Now, the big question that I had on my mind was, how will Zillow grow if they already have such a large percentage of the market? And according to the CFO, the Chief Financial Officer, Zillow is only used for mid-single digits as a percentage of total property transactions across the US. So this means they have a potential in the market to get more involved in these transactions. And I think that's a great idea. Why do you have to, when you purchase a property, go on multiple platforms, speak to solicitors, speak to lawyers, speak to all these different people when you could do it all on one platform? So I do like their idea. I think it's great. And I think they do have a large potential market for growth. And in the future, they want to work on more of what they call an asset-light business model. So sticking with their website, working on 3D home plans, 3D floor plans to just make the experience a lot more immersive. And they also completed an acquisition of what's called Showing Time. So this is a platform where sellers and buyers can actually book viewings with each other, which I know because I've got many friends who are real estate agents, and that can be a real pain point. So I think apart from this major elephant in the room, this big disaster with the iBuying, the company's core business is still strong. They're still a dominant market leader in the US, and they do seem very positive, very optimistic moving forward. Of course, it will be rough over the next 1 to 2 years, and I think that is something, even as investors into Zillow, you'll have to deal with. Don't expect the stock to bounce back within a month or 2 months, maybe even half a year. But the CFO actually stated they expect to sell most of these homes where they've had this big disaster by Q2 of 2022. And then the CFO expects positive earnings and positive cash flow from the company after the wind down of this iBuying business. So it does seem like it is going to be positive for Zillow, but once we get through this really dark period. Okay, so what's the valuation for Zillow stock? Because that's what it's really about. What's the financials say with this company? Is it overvalued, undervalued? What's going on right now? Well, here's my valuation model, guys, advanced valuation model. I've plugged in all the details here. I'm not going to bore you with the exact details, but I've plugged that all in here. And I've really slashed their revenue growth down from around 50% I expected, 60% maybe plus. And I've slashed that down to 20% next year, 20% for the next 2 to 5 years, which is still a good growth rate, very fast growth rate. But yeah, I'm just trying to be a bit more conservative given this big issue. I expect their margins to increase. So I expect the company to become profitable within the next 5 years and have a 13% margin, which is above the industry average. Valuation output, I get for the company right now a valuation per share of $52 per share. The stock's currently trading around $63 per share, so it's looking slightly overvalued still. Now I've adjusted the model. However, I do think this still could be a potential buying opportunity because this is just a model. This just helps us to give us an indication of the value of the stock. For example, if I was really conservative with my estimates and the stock was massively undervalued, then that's an opportunity to really load up the truck with Zillow Stock. But still, I think this company right now is fairly valued. So it's not undervalued massively. It's not really massively overvalued. It's fairly valued right now. And also, if I dive into the technicals, and if I show you guys a little extract from our VIP group, I highlighted a couple of support lines. So the last time Zillow actually dropped to this point, so there's support 1, which was $86. It broke through that, smashed straight through that. Support 2 was around $61, and it was last at that price, I believe, sometime in 2020. So it's not dropped massively lower at this point, but it does seem to have found support at the moment, and the stock seems to be bouncing back. We'll see what happens in the next few days, but it seems to have potentially found support at around $60. So yeah, it could be a potential buying opportunity. Of course, guys, this is not financial advice. It's still a risk, and this is really a long-term investment. I think if you plan on holding this stock for the next at least 2 to 5 years, you should expect it to be higher by then. So there we have it, guys. That's Zillow Stock, a very interesting play. If you guys do want to know exactly which stocks I'm buying, selling in real time, be sure to check out that second link in the description below to join our VIP membership group, or the first link to join our Ultimate Investing Strategy course. Then you'll know exactly when I'm buying these stocks, when I'm selling, and when things happen in the market, I can give real-time updates and actually answer your questions in that group. So it is an exceptional group. It's thriving at the moment. Such great people in there, incredible, insightful conversations going on. I also throw a few memes in there just to have a laugh in there. But there's a lot of interesting stuff in there, and there's also the course if you do want to learn how to be a great fundamental investor. Remember, on this channel, guys, we don't invest into stocks, these crazy ticker symbols, confusing lots of people. We invest into real businesses run by real people trying to solve real problems for the world. So if you did find value, feel free to give this video a big thumbs up. It helps out tremendously with the channel. If you haven't subscribed, you know what to do. Hit that subscribe button, turn that notification bell on. With that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you all have an incredible day, and I'll see you in my next video. Invest safe.